The sun rose over the vast savanna like a golden coin tossed into the sky. The grass swayed in waves, and the cries of wild birds echoed through the morning air. It was a day like any other in the African wilderness, beautiful, wild, and full of hidden stories. But deep in the heart of this raw landscape, an unexpected bond was about to form. A bond between predator and protector, between lion and dog. This is the true tale of Max, a stray dog with no pack, and 3 lion cubs who lost their mother. A story of survival, courage, and the power of love that defies nature's rules. Max was a mixed-breed dog, part shepherd, part retriever, who had lived on the edges of a nearby village. Life wasn't easy. He'd survived on scraps, stayed clear of bigger dogs, and dodged angry farmers. But Max had something special, a gentle heart and a watchful soul. He wasn't the strongest dog around, but he had a will made of steel. One night, a thunderstorm swept through the land. The village dogs howled, chickens scattered, and even the hyenas kept low. Max took shelter beneath a half-fallen tree near the edge of the jungle. That night, something changed in him. A strange tug in his chest, as if something far away was calling to him. He couldn't explain it, but his paws carried him deeper into the unknown. Not far from where Max now wandered, a lioness roamed with her 3 cubs. She was a fierce mother, always alert, always guarding. But the world was cruel. Poachers had been spotted nearby. She could smell the metal, the oil of their machines. One evening, while hunting, she never returned. The cubs waited beneath a rocky outcrop, crying softly. For 2 days, their stomachs growled. They mewed for their mother, but only silence answered. Weak and shivering, the smallest cub collapsed under the weight of hunger and fear. The others curled around him, lost in the shadow of death. Max's nose twitched. Something strange was in the air. Blood, fear, and the faintest whimper of life. He followed it through thorny underbrush and wild paths. There, nestled under a tree, he found them. 3 lion cubs, barely moving. Their golden fur was dirty and matted. Their eyes, glassy with hunger. Max should have been afraid. These were lions, creatures his kind had been taught to fear. But Max didn't see predators. He saw babies, helpless, alone. Slowly, he approached. One of the cubs hissed weakly, trying to appear brave. Max lay down, lowering his body to the ground, wagging his tail. He nudged them gently, sniffed them, and then did something no one would expect. He lay next to them and let them snuggle into his fur. For days, Max stayed with them. He hunted small prey, lizards, birds, anything he could catch. Sometimes he returned to the village outskirts to scavenge leftover bones or bread, carrying them back to his adopted family. He would chew the food gently, then nudge it toward the cubs. At night, when the hyenas came close, Max stood guard. He growled and barked and chased them off, even though he bore fresh scars from their bites. He licked the cubs clean, kept them warm, and made soft whines to comfort them. The jungle began to whisper of something strange. A dog, raising lions. One day, a wildlife ranger named Elijah was scouting the area for poacher traps. That's when he saw something that made him freeze. A dog. And beside him, 3 lion cubs. Elijah watched in awe as Max groomed the cubs, gently herding them away from danger. He followed them silently for an hour, documenting everything. He radioed his team. When they approached Max, the dog stood between them and the cubs, growling protectively. It took time, but Elijah calmed Max, offering food and water. Eventually, Max allowed the rangers to come close. They took the cubs into their care, but they didn't separate them from Max. They knew. This dog wasn't just a bystander. He was family. The cubs and Max were brought to a nearby wildlife rescue center. Under careful observation, the cubs were fed, given medical care, and given names: Simba, Zuri, and Leo. Max never left their side. When one cried, he was there. When they were given milk, he supervised like a worried parent. And when they slept, they curled up against his side, just as they had on that first night beneath the stars. As the cubs grew stronger, their bond only deepened. They pounced on Max playfully, tugged his ears, and mimicked his barks. To them, Max wasn't just a dog. He was Dad. In time, the cubs would grow big and wild, ready to return to the savannah. Max, now older, remained at the sanctuary, loved and cared for. But even from afar, when the rangers visited the lions years later, they noticed something unique. Whenever they barked like Max, the lions would